And anyway, the questions I'm asking today are, one is from Anna, who is on here live again, I hope, and hope she made it over since we changed locations, and from Amy Herrera as well. Anna is a student in our 3-Cow marketing course, and her question is that she runs a CSA, a vegetable CSA, and it's pretty unique because people can customize their order each week. They can, I'm just gonna move the phone here so you get a better picture. And her customers were asking her about supply, they wish they could buy eggs too from her at the same time, since they're already making an effort to go get their vegetables. So she arranged with a farmer friend to have some eggs on hand, and now the CSA customers are not really buying the eggs. So, Anna, you've got a few things going on. I know your history a little bit because you took our course, less than a year ago, so you have just started marketing this way. So you are really getting up and rolling on your marketing for your CSA products. And so one thing could have happened, that could be that you diluted your products a little bit when you brought in eggs. And since you're just getting going, building relationship and engaging those customers on the vegetables, they weren't quite ready, for the addition of eggs. So it's going to build very slowly. So you can give it some time, absolutely. Another thing I thought of, it may be because it's the end of the season. People are getting a little, they've been made a commitment to get their vegetables every week or two or whatever your schedule is. It's sort of the end of the season. It's back to school. I think you just need to give it some more time. It sounds like, though, since you got eggs from a friend, you don't have a lot of investment. It's not like you went out and bought 50 chickens and you're feeding them and you built a coop and all that. You don't have a big investment, I don't think. So, hopefully your friend will stick around and work with you and while you sell a few eggs, and then you'll build up all the time. The other thing is, Anna, so you took our course, email marketing, and that how I talk about, similar to the live video I did on events a couple weeks ago, I talk about how you build up excitement for a new product. So I'm going to give you an example. We recently started selling bone broth. Sorry, this hair is like freaking me out. Right? We started selling bone broth in our store. Well, I did not just have a couple people ask for bone broth. So, oh good, Anna, yay, I'm talking to you, Anna. So ask questions if you have it. We didn't just start selling bone broth out of our farm store. What I did is I heard people over the last year saying, do I sell bone broth? No. And after the first of the year, we started doing a lot of blog posts on bone broth, the health benefits. So a whole separate blog post on the health benefits, like the 3 things bone broth will do for you that's wonderful, and 5 ways to heal your gut using bone broth. So we did articles on bone broth, which means we're creating excitement for that. We even did how to make your own bone broth at home, because we sell bones and chickens. So we taught people, so we gave them free information on, and we educated them on the health benefits of bone broth. We taught them how to make bone broth. We did stories about people healing from bone broth, so they had testimonials. We spent probably 3 months building up this great expectation for bone broth, and then boom, we had a blog post of, now there's bone broth in the farm store, and we sell out. We cannot keep enough bone broth in stock. We're constantly having to go get more from our supplier. So that took months, and I know that you're fairly new. You just started your marketing less than a year ago in this way, so you've got to give yourself time and be patient, Anna, and maybe focus more on next season. Oh, and we did the same thing with fermented vegetables in our farm store, almost the exact same process. We talked about how great fermented vegetables are for you. We talked about some different recipes. We did how-to videos. Every 2 weeks for 6 months, we did either bone broth or fermented vegetables in their own little devoted section. And then by the time we started carrying a line of fermented vegetables, we had people flocking out to the store to buy them because we created that need. We heard little inklings that people wanted it. We started to create the desire through our marketing so that when we finally had them, we sold out. So Anna, if you just had a few people asking for eggs and then you got eggs and now they aren't buying eggs, you just need to, number one, give it more time, but number two, engage with them. And number three, maybe focus on getting going strong next season, because you know you're towards the end of the season. So you have the winter now to spend the winter continuing to be in touch with your customers every 2 weeks through the winter and about the vegetables like you would, but then put in some information about eggs. You could do the same thing, some of the health benefits of eggs, do a profile on, you know, farm fresh eggs or pastured eggs. These are all different blog posts. How to hard boil an egg, you know, great one for just before Easter time, because there's a trick to hard boiling farm fresh eggs. Eggs using recipes, you know, I sell raw milk, so one of my favorites is creme brulee with egg yolks and cream, raw cream from our cow. Build up that excitement this winter so that when you start out your season in April or whenever it is that you start up with your CSA, you have this huge demand for eggs too. Also, one of those things through the winter, you know, one of your blog posts, and remember, every blog post only has one topic in it. One of those could be a survey. So SurveyMonkey, you can do a free survey. It's free to set up and use and everything. And I wrote down some questions here that, Hayden has a Mac and I have a PC. I don't know how to use a Mac, but so sometime after you've engaged with your customers over and over, Anna, make one of your blog posts an email, a survey, and put it, you know, make it as if they're helping you. You know, say, hey, I could really use your help on this. Maybe that's a subject line. Could you help me? Or I could use your help, something like that. And just say, introduce it. For instance, I'm thinking of adding a few items to my CSA and a few people have requested eggs. You could help me tremendously by answering a few questions so that I can best serve you. And then on SurveyMonkey, the question could be, what is your biggest challenge with buying farm fresh food? You know, and I don't know if you want to be specific on eggs or not. You could be. And then you could get specific. You could say, where do you currently buy eggs? But you've got to be careful that you want to really have a good relationship with your customers first, so that if they buy at Costco, they don't feel embarrassed to say, I buy at Costco, you know, because that'll give you a lot of information. So just, you know, make sure you've engaged with them, you've made them feel really comfortable, so that when you say, where do you currently buy eggs, they will tell you. And then you say, what do you like about buying them there? You will get all kinds of great information from that. It might, who knows, I don't even, you know, it could be they're convenient, it could be they're cheap, it could be, I know they were pastured, you know, that will tell you what's important to your customers. Next question, what do you dislike about buying them there? And again, who knows what you'll get, you know, you may hear some really surprising things. And then another question, would you consider buying eggs along with your CSA? And, you know, just again, see how many people would support you in doing that. And then, and then the last question, something along the lines of, what would help you want to buy eggs along with your CSA, or what would make you want to buy eggs along with your CSA? And again, I'm guessing you would get an answer like, well, it would be convenient for one. Hopefully they don't say, you know, well, if they were cheap, I would buy them, because we don't want cheap people trying to, you know, bring our prices down or make you feel guilty for charging a fair price. So anyway, those are some sample survey questions. That's going to give you tons of information on, you know, as far as what your egg customer, you know, base would look like. So I'm just guessing it's not working now because you have not given it enough time. You know, we built up bone broth for 6 months before we carried a line of bone broth, and I did the same thing with ferments, because like eggs, those things are somewhat perishable, you know, so I have to know they're going to sell ahead of time. And I like to do that. I recommend that in all farm products, is make sure you have your customer base set and ready and eager and willing and able to buy before you add a new product or even before you start your farm first. Nothing worse than bringing home a milk cow, having gallons of raw milk in your store, and because you thought people would just show up to buy it because it's popular, and you have no customers and you're dumping it to the pigs or chickens, which is very expensive feed. So this just falls along those lines of make sure you have a big a customer base eager and ready and willing and able to buy before you bring that product in. So Anna, if you have questions, I can't see all the comments, Hayden, so can you, well, why don't you look on my phone? She's gonna look on my phone because since we switched phones, I don't know that all the questions are coming up. But if you have a question, be sure to let me know. Because, I wanted to go back to those questions on the surveys. This is for everyone. Okay, Anna has a question. I'll read it now. When you are promoting a product Sorry, we have it playing over there. This has been a crazy day with technology. When you're promoting a product before you are even selling it, what do you tell people who ask, where can I get this product right now? Don't send them anywhere else. Just say, oh, we're going to have them in 2 months. We're going to have them in 6 weeks, 5 weeks, eggs here in 4 weeks, eggs sold here in 3 weeks. So just keep it, just get on our wait list and I will let you know when we have them. But no, don't send them elsewhere. You put so much time and money in marketing your products. Don't give that time and money to some other person. This is your products. Build a wait list. In our case, we had people coming and buying bones until the bone broth was there, or we would just say, here, make your own. Here's the recipe for fermented vegetables. Try it at home. It's so easy. But no, don't send them away somewhere else. Just create the excitement and get a waiting list, or if you need to, or just say, well, you're on our email list, so you will know the moment we have eggs in the store. Okay, so hopefully that helps you. So, and then also just be careful, like you learned in the course, make sure you're giving. You're not just constantly asking for the sale. You ask for the sale, maybe the third or fourth interaction you have with them, but you're giving them information first, or inspiration or entertainment or recipes, how-tos, things like that. And Anna said, how do you decide how much time to spend marketing other people's products versus using a blog post to promote your own products? Well, as a farmer, a lot of times that comes down to the profit margin and the perishability. Like, I don't market my milk because we always have a waiting list for milk, so I don't send out blog posts about milk. I actually make a bigger profit selling our pre-made bone broth I get from a manufacturer, even though it's $18 a quart. I make a larger profit on that than I do my grass-fed beef bones. So I'm no longer marketing our bones, even though we have them in the freezer. I am marketing our beef broth. So for me, I got to pay the bills. It's going to be profit margin. Anna, also, just from a business standpoint, I hope you're making money off the eggs too, right? You're not marketing her eggs and she's getting all the money, I hope. You've built in something for you, because if you're not making anything off the eggs, don't market anybody else's product if you're not making any money off of it. And this is not greed. This is, if you want to be in business a year from now, serving your customers who want you to be in business, you need to take care of your own house first, which means make sure you're making a profit. And then if the profit margin is similar you kind of have to balance it. You don't want leftover vegetables, so you've got to market that. And if it comes down to you need to be marketing your vegetables all the time to keep them being sold, well, then it's probably not time to add in eggs yet. This is a problem I see a lot of farmers get into, is they get too many products going at once. And I said this earlier on, I'll do a live video on it someday when I have, when I could fit it in. And that is focus on one thing. So farmers will get their vegetables going, and then before they have a waiting list or their vegetables sold out, they will add the eggs or the raw milk or the pork or chicken or something. Make sure you have your first product completely sold out and have a high demand for it, and the price is up where you need it to be sustainable before adding that second product. So even though people are asking you for eggs yet, if you're not profitable on your vegetables, you may, to keep your business viable, just keep working on the vegetables and save the eggs for next season or something. So hopefully that helps you figure out the profit margin, and then is your own business taken care of first before you start marketing the next product. So great, Shauna commented, great comment about developing the customer base. I've been where Anna is and so many farmers. Yes, okay, so let me see the rest of your comment.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yes, do not drop prices to get your things to sell. I would rather see you not sell them anymore rather than drop the price, because you're never going to recoup those costs when you drop the prices. Then one more thing on that, and that is the question of, I'll go down, when you do a survey, everyone who's listening, use the word like what or how or what stops you instead of the word why. When you use the word why to your customers, like why don't you buy our eggs, it makes them immediately defensive. So just right now, you can feel, how does that feel when I say, why don't you buy our eggs? Even if I mean well, that puts you on the defensive and you're like, and they're not going to give you the real reason. But if you say, what stopped, or even something like, I'm curious, what stops you from buying these eggs? Then they will not be on the defensive, and you will get the legitimate answer. There's someone at the door. Sorry, since we moved location in the house, we have a few more distractions. So use the word what, and don't ever use the word why with your customers. I don't use the word why when I'm questioning anybody, my husband or my children, like telling my child, asking my child, why did you lie to me about that party, is a very different question and gets you a very different answer than what stopped you from telling me you were going to that party, sneaking out. So in life in general, psychologically, always ask what stopped you, or for what reason did you do this, instead of why. So it's a really good technique to know. Then I'm going to right now get to the other part of the question. Hayden's going to take me up. Could you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where is it?
She can just leave the rags outside or whatever. Okay, so the other question is Amy's question on, darn it, I need to see that right there. Okay, so Amy Herrera is trying to sell registered Gloucester Old Spot pigs, Goss pigs. She thought there'd be a bigger market for selling registered breeding stock. She drove to 3 states to purchase hers. She gets few calls for them though. And she wants to market cattle too. So this is a big deal, and I put it in here with Anna's question because it goes back towards, could you get me back down where I need to be? Building up that market before you run out and buy a bunch of expensive livestock that you then have to feed and keep around until you can find a customer base for them. So do your homework, go up just a little bit, and I made some notes here. So what I would recommend, Amy, is call people. I mean, you kind of need to start from ground one. Everything I teach in here, building a customer base, will work for selling your livestock. Instead of people needing to buy eggs though, you are reaching out to people, probably farmers, who want to buy your registered livestock. You've got to make sure you have a market for them though. So do some research, build that email list, use every single technique that I teach you on my website. We have free email course, free website course. We have a new course coming out next week. And then we have our advanced marketing course. Every single one of those things will teach you how and help you set up your creating a customer base for these registered livestock. The other part though is you have to make sure that's a viable business. Is there enough demand? And ideally, the best time to do that would have been 2 years before you bought your first pig, but the second best time to do that is right now. Start researching that and make sure that's a viable business. So what I'd recommend is find 5 people in the US who are already doing that, and that will be easy to find. Go to places where they list them for sale. Go back to the people you bought yours from. Go to Facebook groups where they're promoting registered livestock. Find 5 people. You may have to email or call 20 people to get 5 to talk to you, but talk to 5 people about their business and find out how some of the questions you can ask are, let me just find, that's fine, I got it. I'm just find out. Because you want a clearly defined people, a market of people hungry for your products. So talk with these people and who are already doing it and find if they're making money. So unless you have a lot of money that you can invest and not make any money, which is a really great place to be in, but I'm not there. So you need to find out if it's profitable, need to find out if would they do it again, if they lost everything, to, if they were to start over a new business tomorrow, would that be the business they start? Ask them where they find your customers. If they're in another state, if you don't have people around you doing this, then they aren't competition for you, or hopefully they won't see themselves as competition. Ask them where they find their customers. Let's see, but that's the main thing, is you really need to make sure you've got a viable business, and then get all those potential customers on an email list. And, because a lot of us in this group, we don't care about registered livestock because we're selling pigs that need to finish at a certain weight and do great on pasture and our nuts, our orchard and all that. The registration of the pigs doesn't matter. Same with my dairy cows. The first dairy cow I bought, I made sure she was beautiful, registered, she was expensive, she was the most perfect typey, they call it typey, Jersey cow you could find. I brought her home, and I didn't have enough money on the second cow to get that fancy cow, so I got one who was not as pretty, not as good, not as valuable, not registered, and guess what? The milk was the same. So if you're selling to people who are raising pigs for meat, they may not care that they're registered. So again, you've really got to work and make sure you have a viable business. And if you're not willing, I want to be really blunt here, that if you're not willing to talk to 5 people who are already selling registered animals across the US, then you're not willing to make your business successful. So that is really, really super important. I spent at least a year doing this before I brought my first milk cow home. And then, like I talked about with Anna, we make sure we have a customer base ready to buy before we bring our next product in. And you selling registered animals, the process, the marketing process is exactly the same as what we're doing here to sell our meat and milk and eggs and, wool, and it would be the same if you're selling services too. So if you're selling consulting services or artificial insemination services, or you're a lawyer and those services, you use these exact same marketing techniques you're learning here. So any questions on that? And I may turn this into a blog post because there's lots of valuable information here for everybody. No matter what business you're starting, make sure you do your legwork beforehand and that it is a viable business, because what we do is expensive. What you and I do, running a farm, buying animals, whether registered or not, feeding them is super expensive. So take some time to do this legwork ahead of time. And thank you, Red Hills Farms. Hello to you too. Do you guys have any other questions? Because I don't want these to be really long, like 45-minute videos, so I am trying to shorten the videos. So any more questions on here from anyone? And let me see if I got, how do I get rid of that? Oh, good, okay. Okay. So I'm just making sure I go over my notes. My daughter's helping me work the computer. Sorry about all the technology issues. Shauna wishes she had that information 6 years ago. I hear that from everyone who takes our marketing courses or comes to our farm, or other farmers are like, oh, I wish I'd started this years ago. So if you are fairly new, if you are here because you're just starting your farm, you can't pay too much attention to this stuff. So start doing it now. And Now my daughter's getting texts on her phone. That's all right. They can't see the text, only I can. Our technology has been crazy today. All right, the last thing I'm going to say is I have a live webinar on Tuesday. And some of you signed up through the Legal Defense Fund for Wednesday. If you have not signed up for the webinar, you really need to do that. It's free. It is tons of valuable information. I'm going to present on slides. You're going to have a workbook to take notes. And at the end of it, I'm going to tell you about my new course that we're releasing. And it's tons of information. It's going to help you get on the way to being profitable. This week, there was another story about a farm going out of business, and there were all of these people commenting. Somebody else posted it on Facebook. All these farmers were saying, oh, it's so terrible, farmers going out of business. Does not have to be that way. There are so many farmers out there who are now getting to where they can make a profit because they are embracing marketing techniques that are updated, and it's how people buy today. If you're relying on advertising, you're not going to have a sustainable business. That doesn't work. So all that to say, I hope you get on the free webinar, and the links are here in our feed on this Facebook page. We're emailing them to our list too, and we'll post it again. Thanks, everyone. I'm very excited. Next week, I'm going to do a live video because of the webinar. I don't think we'll be able to fit in one of these, but maybe we will next Friday, same time. Take care, everyone. I hope you have a super weekend. I'm going to go hang out with my Marine before he leaves and ships out for 7 to 9 months. So I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.